Hello boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about Manhunt, or at least my initial impressions of Manhunt, because this is one of the few games that I have not beaten on my channel. But the main reason I wanted to get this video out into the freaking ecosphere is because my last video I did on an old Rockstar game like this got a lot of traction. Now, I'm not doing this to get more traction, I'm doing this to kind of address some of the comments, right? Because my Warriors video was do not play Warriors on PS5, because the PS5 version of Warriors is like slathering like mustard on your body and then going out into the sun for 15 minutes. You won't die because of it. It's not going to ruin your life, but it's stinky, right? It's not great. It's very, every time I ran into any light, there was lighting issues. There was a lot of issues with the game. It crashed constantly. Now, I didn't have those problems with the PS4 version, but on PS5, through its backwards compatibility program, it was stinky poo-poo. And then I heard that Manhunt had the exact same issues on PS5. So, using my greater intellect and my absolute fucking chadness, I fired up my Xbox and I downloaded Manhunt on my Xbox through its backwards compatibility program to see if maybe I could have a better result there. Now, Warriors is not on Xbox. Huge L Microsoft. But Manhunt is. So, I jumped into the game and I am happy to say that this game looks and plays good. As good as a game this old made by Rockstar can look and play. And I know somebody in the comments, which please come into my comments, comment as much as you want, like my video, subscribe to my channel, but yeah, I know somebody's going to be in there like, actually, all Rockstar games are timeless masterpieces. You know, you must have been like sitting there eating like your own seed for way too long to think that Rockstar's games age well. Now, their modern games, yes, they're aging quite well, but because they like push the envelope of what could be done. But old Rockstar games are terrible looking. They're not great looking. Even the Warriors, which is one of my favorite games of all time, does not look that great in this day and age. I think the Warriors is held up a lot better than Manhunt has, especially since I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the first Manhunt, and I learned that jumping into this game. Let me tell you, I have a lot of nostalgia for Manhunt 2 because I owned it on my PSP and absolutely love that game. This game feels clunky. This is all of Rockstar's biggest glaring issues of the time, amplified to 100 in one game. Now, is that a bad thing for its time? Absolutely not. The shit was fire. It was pushing the edge of edginess. I mean, I like that. I like when video games cause drama. Like Modern Warfare 2, getting the media all up. Oh, you kill people in an airport. Shut up, bitch. We're gonna do what we do. And Manhunt had that energy, and this game has some gnarly ass death scenes. But the problem is, it's not even one of the best stealth games of this period in time. I'm looking at like Metal Gear Solid, I'm looking at Splinter Cell, and I'm sure there's a lot more, right? There was a lot of stealth games in this time that had better stealth mechanics. This game was not one of them. The stealth mechanics are very basic, as basic as that old Rockstar engine could possibly fucking muster. All the hamsters they had running the gears of that graphical system have long since died 3 generations ago. But what they were trying to achieve with this game, I see it. I want to love it. I want to love it. But this game is clunkier than fucking shit, dude. This game is like trying to slap a clit from the inside the asshole. And that's the best way I can think to say it, because it really has moments where I'm like, okay, this is cool, but then you run into 3 people in the same vicinity and the game's like, just fight them, and it's like, no, because my fucking combat mechanics are dog shit. I have a crowbar, and for some reason it takes 872 hits just to knock somebody down with a crowbar, and like, I get that a game has to be a game to make it work right, but the fact that it takes so long to do this, that it makes regular combat almost unbearable. And it sucks because they put you in situations sometimes in this game where you have no use but to fight somebody like straight up, heads up, like, come here, motherfucker, let's square, do some fisticuffs type shit. But when you're doing like the regular stealth stuff, the game works okay. It's not innovative or anything. What it did was be edgy for its time. And a lot of games in this time period did the same thing. I'm looking at like the Punisher, and the Punisher actually had a fantastic gameplay loop, as well as Manhunt 2. Manhunt 2 is, from what I remember, was a much better looking game, was a much, I remember crouching and having better mechanics, and I played this game and I'm like, this is really, really fucking baseline. This seems like a proof of concept, and I'm glad that they expanded on that proof of concept with the sequel, and maybe this game will win me over in the end, but this first, like, few hours I put into this game were tiring. I have to say, like, exhausting. Especially when I look at other Rockstar games of around this time. I look at like Grand Theft Auto 3 and I look at Warriors and stuff, and I'm like, well, Warriors showed what good combat can look like hand-to-hand combat can look like in a Rockstar game. I mean, you look at the freedom you get in Grand Theft Auto 3 and you're like, oh fuck, this is cool, man. This game just lets me like run around with my clit out, or my dick out, you know what I mean? And then I go to the Warriors and I'm like, this is gritty and punchy and fun, and I feel like I'm an actual badass. I'm throwing myself into like cops and stuff. And then I play this game and it doesn't feel overly great. I mean, look at this little combat section I'm in. It just takes forever to do anything. So that means when you get into these like one-on-one confrontations, which the game forces you into, almost to highlight the fact that its combat fucking blows like a line of dicks. It gets down on its knees and just starts slurping them down. And to me, that sucks because the atmosphere this game built from the moment that opening cinematic shows, I'm like, wow, this game is gonna be cool. I mean, it's grimy, it's gritty. You got this guy talking to you. You feel like you're in a grindhouse flick, which it seems perfect. But yet this guy on death row takes like 472 hits to knock somebody out with a crowbar. Give me a fucking break. Now, when the stealth stuff's happening and you finally get a fucking flow for it, it's not terrible. Like I said, it's not a bad system. It's just not as good as the other games that were on the market in its genre. And that's gonna be like, I know a lot of people are gonna be in the comments like, L take. Well, and that's fine. You can have that take with me. I'm like, cool, I can fucking suck those L's down and be okay with that. But the honest opinion that I had when I started this game was like, I don't know, man. It just, the edginess, even though the atmosphere fucking 10 out of 10, the enemy design 10 out of 10, level design fucking fantastic, but the combat in the main core systems of this game are just not well thought out enough for me to love this game. And it was one of those that I put on, got irritated real quick. I mean, I think I put like 5 hours into the game, 4 or 5 hours. I don't think I put 5 hours in. It was like 3 to 4 hours. And I just got to a point where I'm starting to shoot. I think I just got past getting a nail gun and stuff. It wasn't too far into the game. But it was one of those things that I was like, I don't know, man. It just kind of hit me like a fucking, like a 400-pound woman sitting on my face. I just couldn't breathe. I was getting too irritated because, like, I know that there's been better from even the Rockstar developers. And I look at other games of this time period that did the edgy thing, like the Punisher game. And the Punisher game has a fucking amazing base combat loop. And this game, I feel like, thought, okay, we're going to make this really gritty, edgy world. How are we going to... And they had all these ideas for how this game was going to be, and then they did the combat and the base systems later. Now, I haven't played Manhunt 2 in a very long time. It was the only... I haven't played Manhunt 1 until recently. This is my first time touching this game. The second game I owned on my PSP. And I loved that game. I remember loving that game. I remember it had, like, a really well-done stealth system, and I remember thinking that at the time, and I had Metal Gear Solid on the Switch, or I mean on the PSP. So the Manhunt 2 must have better systems. I'm gonna have to fire my PlayStation up and download Manhunt 2. I'm hoping that it doesn't look as shitty as the Warriors did. That really fucking bummed my boner, So I'm hoping that Manhunt 2, let me know in the comments, do you know if Manhunt 2 looks good on PS5? Because I'm dying to know. I'm like fucking on my knees begging to find out because I don't want to waste the money on it. But at the same time, even though the Warriors look bad, I still played the Warriors on PS5 and deal with the shitty lighting and the crashes it has. because the ideas in this freaking game are perfect, wonderful. I love what it's trying to accomplish. I love the set pieces it's trying to give you. The atmosphere, it just weighs on you and you love it. But to get drawn down by this constant data gameplay really hampers the experience. And it sucks because I'd say this game deserves a remake, but I've already seen what Rockstar did with their fucking definitive edition, which was fucking absolute schlop. I mean, it was like the equivalent of having somebody shit on your chest. You might be into that, but I'm definitely not in. That game basically shit on my chest. I own it for the Switch. It's fine. It's fucking whatever, but it's not as good as the original games were. And so to see that they have all these back catalogs and they don't give a shit, I would love to see them care enough to pull this out of the woodworks and give it a true Resident Evil 4 style remake, or like the Dead Space remake. Give it a fucking remake that this game deserves. Build a core combat system and stealth system that is wonderful. Keep the edginess. I think Rockstar is one of the few studios that isn't afraid to get a little edgy. So I'd love them to pull that fucking edgy boner out of their pants, slap it on my screen, and I will slurp it up. As gay as that fucking sounds, I would do it for this game because I love the ideas going into this game. It's one of the few games, such as Fable. Fable is another one. I have a review coming out on that. But that game, it had so much ambience and everything going for it that I'm going to keep playing that game. I'm going to keep playing this game because of what it's providing me and everything else. But core combat, this game should be slept on. It's fucking garbage when it comes to its main thing. I mean, the shooting is even bad for Rockstar games, and I'm a sucker for Rockstar shooting. I think a lot of Rockstar games shooting, even though it's clunky, it's not great, I enjoy it most of the time. It's something that I feel nostalgic for. In this game, I don't enjoy it. It feels shit. And that sucks to say because, like I said, so many rest of this parts of this game are fucking W's for me. And now, I can't wait to review Manhunt 2 eventually. I need to see if I can get it on PlayStation because it's not on Xbox for some fucking weird reason. God, I hate the state of gaming we're in. Why is there 20 years of backlogs that these two fucking console giants can't seem to muster a little bit of money to put on their systems? Why are all these video game companies not porting their old games? Why are we letting them die? I mean, the movie industry went through this problem and they figured it the fuck out. So why can't we figure it the fuck out? It's not like this shit's like pulling out old N64 games. Like, go figure out the source code. Take the game remastered. I mean, Night Dive does it fucking 80 times a year. Why can't Rockstar do it? Why can't Xbox do it? Why can't PlayStation do it? That's my question for the end of the day. Manhunt 2 looks good on Xbox, better than it did on PlayStation. That's all I got for you guys. Until next time, I love you, and I'll catch you later.